Alright, hello folks, it's Typhoon Carter here, and we got Pelipper coming back to Scarlet and Violet Underused once again. You could treat this video as a bit of a refresher on Rain in Gen 9 UU, as it would not be the first time the Rain has been in this tier. I'm just gonna let this replay play in the background while I'm talking. With that being said though, Rain has had various stints in Gen 9 UU's history. It was there back in day one when it first established. It was a bit archaic back then when the power level was a lot lower. This is a pre-home UU game that I have playing in the background. Right, yeah, so a lot of iterations of Rain usually had some variation of Pelipper, a swift swimmer, whether it was Floatzel or Barraskewda, and then a defensive pivot such as Tinkaton on Mimi Lucha's team here, and you'd also have a Hurricane Abuser such as Kilowattrell, which was generally the more common pick, but you also had Iron Jugless. Yeah, Mimi Lucha's Iron Jugless here was Choice Specs, I believe, and obviously Rain has had to deal with Pokemon such as Gastrodon, which has Storm Drain. Gardevoir is another one as shown in this replay here, and there were also Weather Setters that Rain has had to deal with throughout various points in its history, mainly Tyranitar and Hippowdon, and at some points Slowking. Our Pokemon that was kind of a bane for Rain way back when was Low Kicks, which still is in the tier to this day and age, and is barely holding the tier together ever since Iron Boulder got dropped over. And you know there was also Mimikyu, which was generally not the best matchup for Rain, so there was that. But Mimikyu is now just an RU mon, so you're not. I mean, you might occasionally see it in current SVUU at the time I'm writing this video. As for, I guess, returning Rain staples, what can we expect? Well, for starters, there's Barraskewda. This was pre-home. Barraskewda did not have Flip Turn back then. So that was... But that is a notable Rain abuser. It's also notable because it is one of the few Swift Swim Pokemon that can actually outspeed Booster Energy Speed Boosted Iron Boulder, if it doesn't get banned by the time I upload this, and still be able to run its optimal nature and stuff. Basculegion, both male and female forms, have seen uses at various points, where it's Basculegion male with its powerful wave crashes and whatnot, and also the ghost typing it had was pretty valuable, to say the least. Partly because it was immune to stuff like extreme speed. Zapdos and Specs Tornadus Fairy are mons you would probably be expecting to see on Rain teams, or they've been shown before. But yeah, so Zapdos and Tornadus Fairy are mons that I would also probably expect to be staples in some capacity, mostly because it's been done before, such as this team that PDT is running here. This was back in DLC 1, Specs Tornadus was a staple on these Rain teams, very powerful mon, Terraflying Stab Hurricanes just go hard. Yeah, look at that, man. Not even, yeah, that's Specs boosted onto a Jirachi, still consistently free at KOing. Wow. There's that, and then Zapdos was a mon that it was good outside of Rain, but on Rain you could run Water Ball and stuff. That was kind of a thing in Generation 8 overused. So there's that. Obviously it'll have to contend, or at least Tornadus will have to contend with bulkier Zapdos variants, and Pokemon such as Tyranitar, or even faster Pokemon like Greninja, or the aforementioned Iron Boulder that just came into the tier, that just naturally outspeeded. Greninja is already a good standalone Pokemon on outside of Rain, but it can also kind of play a similar role to what Ash Greninja in Gen 7 OU did. as kind of a late game cleaner or a mid game breaker. And what about like, you know, old options aside that we all know are proven? What about newer options that have shown up before, in between the time Rain left at about the end of DLC 1 and now? Obviously, you got Pokemon such as Latios that is not only threatening on Rain, but it can also do some work on Rain itself. And, you know, that's another mon that has had some older generations that can be referenced to, such as Black and White OU, where it was ran on Rain teams as a powerful breaker. Thunder's Varian, another... yeah, this is just like Black and White OU in a way, but as people would probably joke. Yeah, Thunder's Varian would be a very cool fit on Rain. It wasn't tried as much in DLC 1, partly because of the slots it had to compete with, but it is something that can totally work. And Sandy Shocks was another Pokemon that was experimented with on Rain, like Air Balloon was one of them, and then you would run like, oh man, dude, I'm trying to think right now. So you'd run it on like Air Balloon with Thunder, Earth Power. You know, it was also like a hazard setter. In this replay that's playing right now, Iron Treads, I believe, was the setter on that Rain team, which is just like, you know, an example. And you know, there's also more interesting options such as a Kingdra, which is a mon that got added in DLC 2. You know, specs, I mean, you know, it's got specs Hurricane, got specs Draco Meteor, all that good stuff. And it also still has Flip Turn for added bonus. And you obviously got like more interesting options for Rain, such as Overquill, which has a very nice defensive profile while still being a swift swimmer, like having Psychic Immunity, which is really nice into Slowking, and you know, like being immune to toxic and stuff. So there's some value there, and I mentioned it earlier, but Iron Juglist, that's another one that people might look at too. Yeah, and obviously, as with any Rain team, you usually want a defensive pivot. Other defensive options people could look at is Amoonguss, despite the fact that it lost sleep. Thanks, Finch, but it can make it a little bit more passive at times, but it's still like okay, like if you just need a regenerator Pokemon that can like take some hits. It was a staple on Rain back in DLC 1 of Gen 9 UU. Tinkaton was used as a rock setter on some older Rain teams, like way back, like when Kilowattrel was considered a common pick on Rain, at least like in UU anyways. And it can give teams a Latios switch in, and also like roll compression. I think Excadrill's also been tried. I think there's a team that Twilight posted on the forums that's like public. That's like a Rain team with Excadrill. I will probably link that in the description. Yeah, so obviously, you know, all this is great, right? Like, that's cool and all, but obviously Rain, as I stated earlier at the start of this video, they are going to have some roadblocks that they're going to have to overcome in order to succeed in Gen 9 UU. One of these includes opposing weather setters like the aforementioned Slowking with Chilly Reception. Tyranitar, Hippowdon, Ninetales, Alola are like just a few that come to mind. Obviously there's Ninetales too if you're looking at Sun, but that's a little bit more niche. And Slowking also has like the defensive typing to actually switch into some of these Swift Swim Pokemon. Unless you're like really going to really fringe stuff like Ludicolo. I already mentioned this, but like Iron Boulder, that can be pretty bothersome because 381 speed is like just really oppressive. Like that's faster than Greninja, that's faster than, you know, Tornadus Varian. And like it already has so much raw power, and you can just boost it up with like SD. And in fact, it's so fast that like Swift Swim Pokemon need to reach a 280 speed, 86 speed benchmark, or higher to outspeed under rain, for crying out loud. Yeah, so like this means that some pokes like Kingdra or might have to like run suboptimal natures, like they might have to run timid on rain just to like be able to actually outspeed Iron Boulder. And then Barraskewda and Floatzel are like some of the few Swift Swim pokes that can like actually run their attack boosting nature and still outspeed Boulder under rain. Keyword, that's under rain. Mind you, like Barraskewda will have to run Jolly if it wants to like actually outspeed even like non-booster speed energy Iron Boulder. Water immune Pokemon I've talked about, like Gastrodon was a big one. Volcanion's another one, but like those have some susceptibility to like some of the hurricane abusers we have. And low kicks is probably like most hyper offense's worst enemies, but also like for rain as well, unless you're willing to like put protect on a random Pokemon like Greninja, which people have actually tried, mind you. How well that works depends on who you ask. Yeah, because like first impression, you just click first impression, tinted lenses, so like that means now your pokes actually resist it. Hydrapple is a big one that has returned. That was like a relatively new addition. It also has Regenerator and it resists like most of the Swift Swimmers. It's probably going to have problems into something like Kingdra, for example, like maybe down the line. Toxapex is like another poke that can like survive a hit, and obviously you got Azumarill, so which can be really annoying, especially like Azumarill under screens can just belly drum and then like just try to win the game from there. And obviously you have very, very niche options such as Scarf Gardevoir, which has been a thing in the past and it can still be used now. With that being said though, if I missed anything, I don't know, just like let me know in the comments. And like I said, this video was more so me rambling and more so like a refresher for people who might have not had the experience with rain in this tier before. And that's also assuming that rain or doesn't get immediately banned. But have a nice day.